I'm Daniel Ziegler. I wrote and directed Horrorspell, the last one. So we did a public casting call online on Backstage, and then we solicited video auditions, reviewed those, and then a few people came through, mutual connections and friends of friends, and people who have been acting in theater, actually, primarily. A couple of our actors were new to film, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, just a lot of different ways.
I love the question. I'm glad you appreciated it because that was really important to us to stay true to the different eras that we were representing. So in order to do that, I wanted to try to stay as close to the way that it would have been done at those times, in those times, so that it all felt right. Honestly, the way it was kind of a ragtag production. Like, I did most of that all by myself. A lot of the practical effects were insert shots that were saved till after principal photography was over. So we shot everything with the actors and then just left little said, oh, we'll film a close-up of a stabbing later, and I'll figure that out later. So it was kind of a hodgepodge of like making a little fake torso and knife and having a tube going under it with the blood. And one of my favorites is the dummy that gets thrown over the railing. I love the ragdoll dummies that you see back in the 50s black and white monster movies that we're trying to emulate there. So that was important to get the dummy in there, and I built that from scratch based on starting with a Halloween skeleton, and then I built it up with tape and foam and put a wig on it and the set costume and everything. So that was a lot of fun. Also the shower curtain going through her torso in the bathroom, that was very complicated because if you didn't get that right, like the two halves of the shower curtain kind of sagged and it didn't look like it was going straight through, so it took a little bit of trial and error there to get that one right. It ended up looking really good in my opinion. But yeah, no, that was probably one of the most fun parts of it, but also one of the ones we were least confident about going into it. It was sort of like, we'll figure it out later, and thankfully we did. So it started out as a feature film that I was writing over the pandemic. It's been a few years since I made a film. I kind of settled first on wanting to make a horror film, and then I was like, well, what kind of a horror film would I want to make? I really like to play with style. I don't like to make anything that's too visually straightforward, so I ended up trying to kind of think about my own relationship with horror and how I didn't really like it early on, and my intro was kind of the black and white Universal monster movies, and from there I got more and more into it. Now I love all kinds of horror, but I wanted to pay tribute to the full history and the many changes that the genre's gone through, and how I think they're all really cool in their own ways, and how certain things have stayed the same, some things have changed, but this is just kind of my love letter to the genre in general.
Make stuff.
I agree. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. I wanted to be a filmmaker since I was like an infant, basically. So I have been making stuff with my sisters and my family when I was really young. And then I kind of found a community in high school. I did theater and didn't have any interest in acting, but I met a lot of fellow actors who were great. I wanted to make movies. They wanted to be in movies, so we did go out there and make stuff. Put it out on YouTube. The first few weren't great, you do a few more and they get better and better, and yeah, honestly, it's just get out there and do it, and there are ways to do it on no budget. Hopefully, as you get better and you get a bigger community, you can get a little bit of money from somewhere and make it better, but yeah.